Hey, what's going on? My name is Avi. Thank you so much for joining me today on my walk through lovely Alameda, California. It's a beautiful day out here. Not a cloud in the sky. Definitely worthy of bringing out the sunglasses. Very grateful to be out here. Just on my lunch break right now. I work fully remote as a cybersecurity engineer. Very grateful for that. And today, I'd like to talk with you about singing. And specifically, if you've ever been afraid of singing before, if someone has ever criticized your singing or made you feel embarrassed, ashamed, or some other negative emotion around singing, I just want to let you know that you're not alone. I was just thinking earlier today about a memory from when I was 6 or 7 years old, just like in elementary school. I remember we had this daycare program before school where kids would join, just hang out, play card games, whatever. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh at the time. Shout out Yu-Gi-Oh if you're into that. I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my best friend Ben Rivera. Man, that was the stuff. Summon Skull Attack. Oh man, it was good stuff. Anyway, though, I also had a childhood bully. His name was Nick. And one of the times when I was at the daycare program just before school started, I remember I was humming something. I don't even remember what it was, but I was pretty stoked on it and just having a good time. And then out of nowhere, he was just like, "Man, you suck. Like, why are you doing that? Like, you should stop." And I remember just the very sudden change in my emotional state. Of course, I wasn't aware of it being like a 6 or 7 year old. It's not like I was thinking, wow, my emotional state just changed. But nonetheless, like looking back, it was just such a stark contrast, right? Because in the previous moment before he said that, I was like, man, I'm just hyped as fuck right now. I'm enjoying humming along and just in flow state like kids do all the time. That's one of the things I love about being around kids. But then Nick said this thing. And sorry if I didn't mention his name. His name was Nick, the bully. He just was like, "Yeah, you suck." And then all of a sudden, I became very self-conscious, right? Very embarrassed, very ashamed. I felt bad, like I had done something morally wrong, just for fucking singing or humming or whatever I was doing. I was made to feel like I did something morally wrong and that I was defective as a human being for doing it. That I should feel bad for just singing, And it was something that made me never want to sing again for a very long time, to be honest. I not only never sing again, but in addition to that, I felt really just like I sucked at singing. I just had this view of myself that I was a terrible singer and that I should never do it again, should never expose anyone to it. Like, God forbid I expose people to my singing or whatever. Like, it's going to just destroy their consciousness. I mean, God forbid. But yeah, so I never wanted to sing for a really long time, and I wasn't even really aware why. If someone had asked me at like 12 years old, for example, when I was 12, like if they had been like, "Hey, like, why don't you want to sing?" I'd be like, "I don't know, I'm just no good," or whatever. I wouldn't trace it back to the Nick memory. It was only until I was an adult, I'm 28 now, it was only until a couple of years ago that I even became consciously aware of that memory. And yeah, I mean, once I became aware of it, I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. Like, you know, you shouldn't be ashamed of singing regardless of your solo skill level. Singing is just a very natural extension of being human. It's a natural human expression to just sing, to emote. It's part of how we express ourselves with words and without words, right? You don't even need to be using words to sing. So, all this to say that if you've ever had an experience like that, I very much empathize with you. It's really, really hard to have something so personal and vulnerable like your singing expression criticized, and for you to be made to feel bad about that. That really sucks. So firstly, I just want to empathize with you. Secondly, I would like to say that if you do enjoy singing, which who doesn't enjoy singing, man? If you do enjoy singing, don't let that stop you from singing. I'd like to invite you to think about any times in your life where someone has made you feel bad about singing, and acknowledge the experience. Don't deny it. Let it flow through you. Let those emotions flow through you. Recall those emotions. Your emotions are valid, but also what that person said to you about your singing isn't about you. It's about them and their own insecurities, right? Because you being free with your emotions and your singing and your self-expression was a mirror reflecting back at them that maybe they're not as free with their self-expression as they'd like to be. Maybe they were jealous of you, right? Maybe you evoked a fear within them, a fear like they're afraid that they're not as comfortable with themselves as they'd like to be. And that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, right? So firstly, empathize with yourself, let those emotions flow through you, and realize that what they were saying was about them, not you. And that though all emotions are valid, but the thoughts that come from them aren't necessarily valid. And the thought that probably came from that emotional experience was like, oh, I'm not a good singer, or I should never sing again. First off, to say that you're, quote, not a good singer, that's a completely opinionated statement. And secondly, to say good or not good to me, it's not a very useful term, right? It's more about, in my case, I had never really sang in a formal or structured manner before. It was just something I did for fun. So of course I'm not going to be very skilled at it because I didn't have very much practice. That doesn't mean I'm, just a bad singer or whatever. It's like, no, you just need more practice, just like anything else. It's not a moral matter. It doesn't make you a good or bad person. Didn't make me a good or bad person, right? It's just, you're just a human being and you just need some more practice at the skill. But that doesn't mean like, oh my God, you're such a bad person or even a bad singer. It doesn't mean that at all, right? So taking the emotion out of it, taking the shame out of it, is very, very important. And then if you do want to sing, being like, hey, like don't let that experience stop you. Or like, let's say you've had multiple experiences of people making you feel bad about your singing. Don't let any of those experiences stop you. Reframe it to be like, hey, like I like this thing called singing, and I haven't done it very much, but it's something I'd like to do more. And why the hell not? Like, if you enjoy it, that's a thing that you can get better at. And frankly, what other people think doesn't fucking matter. If you enjoy it and you want to get better at it, you are empowered to do so. There are tons of resources out there on singing. And just to share a little bit of my own story, when I was 20 or 21, I'm a big time metalhead, and my friend Peter started a band. I'll go more into this story some other time, but I just want to kind of cut to the chase here that my friend Peter started a band, and I started the journey of working on growls and screaming and singing and all of that shit. So, now I've been doing it for 7 years, 8 years, and I'm by no means a professional or anything like that, but it's something I enjoy, something I do all the time, and brings a lot of meaning and fulfillment to my life. And if I had listened to what Nick said all that time ago, I never would have done any of that. I would have just let his words become a shadow over my life, preventing me from enjoying myself to the fullest, right? I would have been a shell of my potential self, if you will, right? Like if I had listened to his words and dwelled in those emotions and allowed those emotions to control me and to captivate me, not in like to make me captive, to hold me captive, to enslave me. If I had allowed that to happen, I never would have explored singing more. And again, it's not about how good or bad I am or how skilled or not skilled I am. All that matters is I have a voice inside of me that says, hey, I want to sing, and I go and act on that. And it's something to enjoy and something to work on, right? Like I have challenges that I'm working on in my singing and my screaming and my growling right now. And that's the fun of life, right? To have things that you're not as skilled at as you'd like to be, to identify where your weaknesses are, and then to make adjustments in your approach over time and ask yourself, hey, like, how can I bridge the gap? How can I get a little bit better? Identify a game plan, go and execute on it, evaluate, did it go well? If yes, great. If not, all right, let's go back to the drawing board and ask the question again, like what went wrong, what went right? Let's reformulate a new plan, and that's the scientific method just applied to yourself. That's the fun of life, and then you get better. And meanwhile, you enjoy the journey, right? So all that to say, if you want to fucking sing, fuck what anyone else thinks. Fuck what anyone else thinks, for real, man. If you enjoy yourself singing, if that's something that's an extension of who you are and it's an expression of who you are, and you want to express that part of who you are, then fucking do that, man. Do that. Honor yourself. Nurture yourself. Other people are going to feel however they feel, and you can empathize with them. And I encourage you to empathize with them. But their emotions don't mean anything about you. And therefore, it shouldn't mean anything about stopping you from doing what you want to do. So that's all I got to say on that one, I think. And speaking of all that, I'm about to go hit some singing right now. I'm fucking hyped. Let's go. I'm going to hit a singing session at my parents' house. My dad's got a studio. Oh, I fucking love that studio. My dad passed away a couple years ago, so whenever I'm in the studio, because he used to be a professional trumpet player, so whenever I'm in the studio, I'm thinking of my dad, connecting with my dad. Yeah, man, I love him so much. And music's part of how I connect to him. So there you go, back to the self-expression, an expression to connect to other selves, man, not just yourself, but to others, man. Who do you connect with through music? Who do you connect with through singing? Who do you think of when you sing? I think of my dad. And I definitely think of my dad when I'm practicing at my parents' house. And I'm about to go do that. So, and this video serves as like a little mini vocal warm-up before getting into the actual singing warm-up. So there you go. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy it. Go do you, man. Fuck. Life is short. Life is short. And it could end tomorrow. You never know what it's going to end. Memento mori. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. And I don't mean that in like, oh, this depressing way. It's like, no, like, let that infuse you with a sense of healthy urgency. We're not going to be here forever. If you want to go do something, if you want to enjoy something, go fucking do it, because we never know when the next moment is going to be the last. We never know. We never know. All we know is that we have right now, right here, right now. You can take advantage of that moment. So what's stopping you? Get off this video. Have a good one. Go do it.